quiz is garbage. No way. Ooh, this guy thinks he's Captain Knots. Thinks he's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him.
Rock and roll is very simple. Just 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is rock and roll. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Välkommen till livestreamen.
Yo. Pew pew pew. What's going on, guys? Cool. So, a little different. What's going on, Damon? Hope you're doing well. We're going to be using Mr. Wicked Moto's ideas today for a bit of this. Yeah, it's been cool. Some people have been sending in some stuff, and yeah, it's been cool to check out your ideas. I think the thing overall with everybody, let me move this a little bit. One thing I'm noticing with pretty much everybody that submitted stuff is they all have very good ideas. It's almost like they, kind of don't know really where to go with it, right? Develop it more, that sort of thing. So it's cool. I haven't had a single, haven't had like a lame idea, or anything like that. So, I don't have Tux guitar on this computer, so I have it pulled up on my tablet right now. A little Tux guitar profile, if you're not familiar with it. Kind of quiet. Let me let's see. This is what happens when you switch your system. Let's see. Check. Let's me do or switch the session. That might be a little bit better. Double check this. Yeah, this session is way different. The other one had all my mastering stuff on the master bus too, so let me check. Yeah, we got a little bit there, so we'll see hopefully this doesn't if it starts sounding bad, let me know, but that should definitely be better. So anyway, what we have is an idea, and it's written for a big boy 8-string guitar. But what I'm going to do is, oh Jesus, okay, yeah, the problem with going with the setup I have, that's how it goes. This is just a random session that I use when teaching, basically just to get ideas out, and that is the important thing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up this part for how he has it. So essentially, it's at 80. Let's bump this down. Whoa. Oh, obviously, we can always play around with the tempo. But just to get this going, I'm going to go ahead and put quarter notes just on a cymbal. Okay, so I'm going to play a couple of these little ideas just so you can kind of see what we're starting with. And hopefully not mute myself again. Okay, so with this, there's a lot of like the first measure, for example, it kind of goes... it's got kind of a combination of some fills and some stuff that's more like chuggy, right? So stuff like that, right? Stuff like that. Nice. So a lot of what's up? 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. So you're looking for it to be a little faster. That's totally cool. I think the big thing with this, like I said, you've got a good starting point for some of these ideas. The chug part, like, let's just take that chug part to start off with. Just to show you how, like, I would maybe develop that, play around with it. Because I always end up with way more ideas than I end up using, you know? So I'm going to change this. Let's put this on the China symbol. So we had talked a bit about establishing the feel. So right here, what you have rhythmically for the chugs and everything, right? We've got the 2 hits, and then 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So something kind of like this, where I don't know what just happened with my cymbal. Why was it choking it out? You know, let's put this on 8th notes. All right, so we've got this starting point, and you know we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to make this short. I'm going to make it only like 4 measures for right now. 16. Yeah, no, I gotcha. And so, you know, I feel like there's some stuff that's like with any sort of riff, there can be cool versions of them, slower or faster. It's just kind of, you know, what ends up matching what you're doing. Let's just give this a halftime. I think a lot of times riffs do end up sounding a little bit better slower. If it's fast and really busy, it can be hard to pick it all up anyway. All right, so we've got. Okay, so let's take this, and just to start off with, I'm just gonna do put the chugs in there, not worry about the fills at all, and just. Oops. So just the first 3 hits essentially. Oops, didn't do that right. Okay, so when we have this, right, no fills or anything like that, I think a lot of times what's good to think about is like the chug part of the riff, and the more we'll call it like the melodic part of the riff in this situation, because you can change elements of both, and depending on what you're looking for, you might want something different. So as an example, if you have a repetitive, I'm saying you hit 2 16th notes and 2 16th rests. You do that 3 times, and then you do the fill. Yeah. So the 4 hits. I don't think I would be writing such good music with after that. So yeah, so I just took the framework, right? There's just the low. I'm using the B, but it would be like your 8th string, right? That's lame. Let me just get this going. All right, so I'm just gonna check my sounds. Wait a second, get that set up. Let's see what this would be like. Let's do 1. Okay. So all right, so we'll make sure he comes back before doing this. All I'm going to do right now is add a little bit of little bit more interest. Nothing too crazy. Okay, cool. So all I have here is like just sort of a rough feel with the drums and stuff. But what I was starting to say. You got that. I like to think about the low parts and the high parts of this kind of stuff separately. Obviously, they're working together, but you can change elements of like more of the melodic part or more of the like chug part, right? So let's just say, like, just to make this a little bit more interesting to start off with, let's make this, and I'm going to do a variation. So anyone who knows me knows that I throw tons of this shit around, but I don't like just repeating stuff. So what's happening here is the first time through it's a chug on the B, and then I went to a D to an E. Something pretty predictable, but then the next time, the last one, we'll end on the C note, okay? So this is nothing to do with the fills or anything like that, the little melodic parts, but just kind of establishing a different bass line. Let me unmute myself. What's going on with my counter? All right, so just kind of giving it a little bit of a little more motion. One thing, like, it depends on the type of player, right? If you're, let's say, let's take a player like Jeff Loomis, right? He does a lot of stuff with repetitive low notes and changing, like, the high note. So in this, like, you might have, like, a... you know, stuff like that, where it's pretty cool. Some people do like more of like that kind of more traditional thing with like, especially with the low notes going from 0, 7, and 8. But right, that sort of thing. So you've got just that's pretty much the same melody. You know, just changing those low notes. What is that, like kill switch engage? Something like that. But anyway, it can be helpful to think about them a little bit more separately at times. So taking the fills that you had, they're a good start. Like we haven't added you can use any of the 7 elements of music to help you out getting something to be more interesting. So it's kind of like questioning yourself what it needs, right? So right now, I think the little fills that we're gonna do, let's maybe throw yours in. That sort of thing. So yeah, so we can have any of those. So with the melodies, I kind of like, we know we're going to be chugging on those low notes, so it's just a matter of, let's say we start with so right there, I think it's important to think about motion. So with the first, you did a good thing, I think, where the first 2 are ascending, and then the next one, that sort of thing. So if we have, like, this whole thing has like a heavy vibe with like a heavy blues influence, right? Just because, I don't know if that was what you were going for, but it's cool. Let me put this fill in here. What are we doing, G? Oh, I'm looking at your notes on the 8th string and then do that doesn't work. Oop. I needed one more there. There we go. See? Yeah, that's great. I mean, you could totally do everything that I'm doing straight in Tux guitar. I just work a lot faster in the recording stuff. But yeah, so getting those, I got that one fill in there. Let's get your other ones in there. So we had the first one was doing a G. So one thing just to bring up, right here, your fills are kind of going, except for the last part, right? They're kind of going in order. So one thing that might, I know a lot of stuff that you like does is break it up more. Oh, I hear you, man. It's it definitely is tricky coming up with stuff out of nowhere. It's like anything though, when you get used to it. Let's see. So anyway, you've got kind of like this pentatonic type vibe with these, so you might want to. Let's see. Yeah. So let's just play around with these notes. So if you want to keep that sort of pentatonic type vibe, keep the same note, the similar note choices, right? So if we had we could choose anything that we want, and then this little I cheated there. I added a blue note. It's and you don't have to do the fills every time, right? You could do let's say the first time. Let's do one here. Maybe. And then you flipped it. The last one. So right there, that was where we actually, let me put this back in. That was where we originally would have had your fill, right? And so what I think, or what I'm going to do here is we're going to do a different fill the first time. Next time through, we're going to basically do the same start, but we're going to change things up a little bit. So the second time through, we'll have... I'm going to do a little bit different rather than the hits. But like a little all right, that should be kind of cool. Now let's add. All right. Yeah, no worries, man. Let's play around with this. So, actually, let me lower the these guitars. All right, this is cool. I'm actually gonna change. This is a very this has got a very John Petrucci-esque vibe for me. So what I want to do is I'm gonna change it to this other preset. I think it'll sound cool. All right, so I think the one thing fill-wise that I'm gonna want to do is play around with the first one. I think the note choice could be different, especially because I just changed it up a bit. So. No. Let's see. Let's go down for the first one. Yep. Oh yeah, dude, this is just I'm playing around with this student's idea right now. For real recordings, like on my album, the bass player's tracking all the stuff right now, and yeah, this is just for the songwriting purposes. Help get the ideas out, right? Yeah, who knows, man? I mean, if you want to end up using it for, I'll send you what I do to your idea right here, and you can play around with it. I mean, the point is to practice doing it, right? Because like I don't even know how many hours and hours of music I have that have not been released or just, you know, waiting around to be used for something. Totally cool. It makes sense. So let's play around with this. So see if I like that. So yeah, so with I'm just basing this off the stuff that I know that you like. One big thing would be eventually probably to put variations in like those chugs and stuff, right? Maybe you have like a little bit, like a lot of stuff you listen to, it will end up adding like a little bit of a gallop in certain parts, or you know, just gradually like making it a little bit more intense. But if we just take like this raw one right now. Your fill, but and like here, let's just make this a little bit different. Kind of imitate that rhythm. So gradually, I'm just kind of adding those variations, right? So here, like, you start with a framework, right? And then you can go back in. You know, make it a little bit more interesting. Get some... Yeah, it makes sense. But I don't have one. I can't get it. Yeah, I literally am doing the 16th notes just like you had here. So it's 2/6. I mean, I've added a couple variations, but it's a 2/16, 2 rest, 2/16, 2 rest, 2/16, 2 rest, and then the 4/16 at the end. I bumped it up a little bit because I know you said you wanted it a little fast. It's at 110 right now. But yeah, having that. Yeah, putting some rhythmic variation in there is cool because, like, if we had just like talking about the chug part, right? If we did yeah, you know, like if we, depending on the vibe we're going. I mean, I haven't set anything up totally yet, but like we have that heavier riff. I think it's really cool, and again, things that are similar to what I know you like add layers. You know, so like let's say we did just kind of focusing on that B note, so we could have something kind of ambient in the background, maybe. Let me just give myself a counting because it's being stupid. All right, so let's just say. Something like that. And the thing is, like, you want to play around with different options, right? You might not necessarily want it all being that one way. This is something that could definitely be cool to you know, evolve, right? So if you were to start with something that's a little bit more, let's get rid of these. Go into something a little bit more. Oops, shit. Halftime. Change this up a bit. We'll put the. Nope. Alright, so let's try playing around with something. Actually kind of worked. I didn't even know I was recording. Let's see. That's with pretty minimal variations too. So I think for people, and I'm sure it's to some extent for you with this, when you're, I think it's really important not to get tunnel vision on one element, and that's really, really easy to do. And so what I mean by that is, I mean, especially since you haven't done a lot of this, it's a lot easier to try and make everything be like on that one guitar part, but like spreading the responsibility across other instruments and stuff definitely helps. And like a lot of times what happens is people try and think of the riff all together rather than thinking of rhythm and then the note choice later, right? So like let's say you're like completely stuck and you have no idea. Let me just move that thing away. You have nothing in your head, right? And you want to write something. Be as specific with yourself as possible, and then like brainstorm things that'll make that work. So let's say we have absolutely no idea. I'm gonna say I want something that's like heavy, kind of halftime Meshuggah like, and so I'm just gonna pick something random. Okay, and then we'll add notes and we'll do whatever. So let's say I start with, I want to do something, let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do a very Meshuggah-like thing to do. We are going to put upper body in like a 4/4 kind of sound. And then we're going to have a kick drum rhythm that is going to be in 7. Okay, so what's going on with your other VSTs? Like they don't load into Reaper or something? Because that's weird. They work even for like really old computers and stuff. Oh, not that. I mean, yeah, I remember I used to just end up having to sing ideas onto a cassette recorder. That sucked. All right, so if we just have this 7 pattern repeating. Let's put this on the bass. So like I haven't played this yet. What I'm going to do is use this as a starting point. Let's do it with the B. All right. So right here. Oh, I messed it up already. Let's go a little faster anyway. So with this, did you oh, dude, I didn't know you were having a hard time finding those. They're everywhere. I'll text one of my students now that uses a ton. He's got like a terabyte of VSTs that he uses that are all free. DSK is a decent free company. Forefront is okay. There's a lot of really good ones for piano. A lot of times actually I use a free one. But like I said, I can get you a list of some if that'll help. There's There's a really good free one from BBC. You can fill out a questionnaire and then they send you a license for it. That's for everything in the entire orchestra. But yeah, any VST will work in Reaper. It doesn't have to be specific for them. They're actually even a little bit better with handling them than Cubase can be at sometimes. Because they'll end up, I was gonna say Cubase only uses the 64-bit VST, like the newer versions. So right here, let me open the bass. Literally, you can just pick notes from that scale. Oh, I know what you mean. This is the thing that's pretty crazy about music is when you start getting more control over it, you can manipulate the sounds like crazy and make like major sound like people in death metal, they use major chords all the time. You know, like all that kind of stuff. It's interesting how it Let's see. That's interesting. All right, let's try it. So all I did was I just chose some random notes from the scale, changed one of them. So we just gotta. Yeah, that's weird. The scale I'm using right now is just B minor with the flat 2 in there. So this is super common in metal. It's technically called like a Neapolitan chord, but all you really have to think about is if you're in minor, you make the second note one lower. So what I'm doing here is just basically I'm hitting the third note, second note, and open. Right, so 3, 2, 0, and then changing just that first fret. That's it. So. Even if you weren't if I weren't even thinking of the scale, if you just find notes that like feel good together, you know, like we could have, let's say we want something really diminished sounding. Maybe I end up with but right here, this is cool. And again, we could add layers, right? So maybe we have like let's see. Let's. So right here, since it's focusing on that B, I'm basically just copying that, and we're gonna put a little overdrive guitar playing some octaves. Same thing with the clean. add the heavy shit. So right here, it's slowly building things up. The biggest problem people have is when they try and do too much at once. So like right here. Oop, I played the wrong thing. My bad. Let's try this again. Nope. I keep forgetting it. It's like when I work on my own shit, right? It's cool. And that just was started by just randomly like programming out some rhythm, right? It's cool to come up with variations that way when you have... What the fuck happened here? Oh. That got fast. What were we at? 110? I think that's what we were at. So if we wanted to come up with, you know, some variations on this thing, you've got different elements here. You've got those little fills, so you could have like a, you know, different rhythms, different, just playing what you have. Oop, wrong notes. Pinch harmonic as a variation. And it, like with this, all those little variations that I added in here, they're all based on B minor. They're just moving them around, like rather than... A lot of times when people go from point A to point B, they go in order, and it can be cool to break it up. So a lot of times if I'm having trouble coming up with a pattern, or say like I wanted to come up with a new fill, I know that with your idea we had 4 beats to hit, so I could you know, there's all kind of, any combination is fair game. You just got to find the one that fits the vibe that you're going for. The with this, where it's got kind of more of that pentatonic kind of influence, probably stick with something along those lines. But, that fill is very much, I don't know if you ever really listened to Liquid Tension Experiment. I know you listen to a lot of Dream Theater, but that's very much like some of their stuff. Like in, what is it, Acid Rain? Very similar kind of ideas. It's cool. So yeah, so if I were expanding off this, I think it's also just like a little side note. It's important to ask yourself what you're looking for when it starts. So like, let's say we had this as our idea. We got maybe that version and then one that's a little bit different. So let's say I want to come up with something that's kind of like a mellow thing to come after that, right? We'll do a quick example in both directions. We're not going to worry about doing too much, but we're going to go from... Let's go mellow. So right here say I just took a chord you know that sounds good after that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna change just the low note. So you could just write these as what are called slash chords. It's but if we had some, that'll work real well. Crazy, right? We could, if we, like, say we want to do something like that, but we don't like that first chord. Maybe I want to go to that B minor thing, but maybe do a different voicing, right? Something kind of low end. So then let's say we wanted to go to something intense. We're coming from this. Kind of got that low groove, right? So immediately a good option would be just to change the feel. And let's say we're going to go to, I'll just put 16ths on the kick for right now. Sorry about the buzz. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's just say we have... if we just go from that halftime to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, right? This is yeah, you just described, I think, probably the biggest thing. Like, you have a lot of really badass ideas and things in your head, right? It's super hard to get them out. And like, it's almost like I kind of envy kids in a way, because they don't give a shit, and so they just kind of go for it and don't doubt themselves, and you know, just they sound good right away. Like, not good right away as far as like technically, but like they're not afraid to try it, right? The thing that I always try and remind myself of as I'm writing is to I kind of like, especially if I feel like I'm getting stuck, but I'm kind of constantly asking myself what the point of what I'm doing is. Like, is it supposed to be something that's like in this case, I want it to sound intense. And so I'm only thinking in my head of things that are going to help that happen. So right here, I changed the feel from halftime to standard. And let's just say we have this, rather than this groove, it's going to be a little bit more... Ooh, that's gonna be cool. Okay, so we're just gonna have this going, and I'm just gonna jam on this for a second. Just let some ideas out. A lot of times I will hit record, but something like this could be cool, where you go into something that's a little bit more. Yeah. Not quite. All that shit, that's all just playing around on the B minor scale again. So I know I'm going to kind of go home on the B, right? And in your case, like an F sharp or whatever, low E, whatever. So let's just put a bunch of these Bs just to fill it out more. It'll sound cooler. So yeah, right here, don't quit. This is all I did. I'm taking 2 strings, and I'll flip this so it might look a little bit better. I'm only taking 2 strings, and I've mapped out notes that I know sound good. So I've got like the B on the low B, and then let's say 7, 5, 3, 2, just mapping out the scale. So if I have this, that could be anything. Like the note choice makes a big difference, right? If I were to do, I'm just gonna take that one idea and show it in different things. I mean, I've been doing this whole thing. I didn't change keys from everything. What I was doing, it's just different than the way you originally wrote it. But that's certainly another option. But right now, like I said, I'm just using just B minor. So they're all natural notes except for C and F. Those are both sharps. And map those out, have a visual if that helps. It definitely did for me for a long time. But if I'm going to play the same idea, just different notes. Okay, so if I went... So... Now that one sounds pretty good because I'm going back to the B, which is kind of my focus. But if I were to, I could do other notes too. Alright, so any of those are fair game. Choose the ones you like more. I personally like starting with that B one first. I like that little fill. So in my head, at first, I wouldn't have known what to hit there. But what I would have done... Let's see. This could be cool. So we're just changing just a couple notes here and there. Go to F sharp there, so change that up a bit. Okay. So that's like one layer, and like the layering's important. There's so with that part, that might be the foundation. Let's add a harmony maybe. Oh shit, don't hit that harmony note. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the third higher. So instead of I think I would definitely add some more. So I think we're gonna go more like... Yeah, I can play it. So I'm going... Yeah, those little accents. Here, Here, I can pull up this too. You can see this a little bit better if that helps. The bass is hitting those things there, so it's kind of like a lot of B's. That's kind of cool. And that's in the wrong spot. Yeah, so like here, I just wanted to make it a little darker, so I'm gonna change this one note. Don't worry about the theory, you can just do it, you know? I didn't do it right, but anyway, you can kind of get the idea, I guess. Like that's obviously taking it. What we could go a different route. Let's say we didn't even want that kind of idea. We want something more, maybe Jeff Loomis-esque, right? Let's do a. So find a repetitive. Let's say like 3 notes that we can. Let's do. That's not like Loomis, but it's kind of cool. A little variation on that. You know, even if we don't know what we want, everything can be boiled down to a chord progression. You know, there's going to be, even if it's a bunch of individual note stuff, there's still a chord progression in there in some way. So that can be, I mean, you don't have to think of everything at once. You can use stepping stones. So let me show this. I did that. I wish I had my solo album pulled up because there's a really good example of doing this on there. It's from it was a super cheesy, lame sounding riff, and I made it way cooler. Like Slipknot. Yeah, there you go. Slipknot, you know, I wrote them off for a long time. Like when I was younger, I just like didn't give them a chance. They have some pretty cool shit. I'm glad I'm not like that so much anymore. Okay, so we're just going to find some low notes that we think sound good, and then we're going to build it into something better, okay? So we want to go to something heavy, maybe something like a chorus. We want it to be kind of catchy. Like that. So it's giving a little bit of a melody, but I'm really only playing power chords. And again, I'm basing that all on the notes from the B minor scale. So like here, kind of just focusing on those. Top of it. Actually, let's get the bass to do that. All right, so, and again, like you could actually do the bass first. A lot of times if I don't want to worry about playing it. I'll just program it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That'll be cool. So basic chord version. That right. So right there, not a whole bunch of like individual notes, but we could boil that down into something. Ooh. Let's see. That's crazy. Nice. And honestly, like let's say we took something like this, right? We could have the big version. Just do real quick. So we got that. Let me get the other version in there. Super sloppy, but just so you can hear it. So that could be one version, right? Like totally going. That melody actually works over this too. That's pretty wild. But it's all based on the same key and same chords and notes and stuff, so it's kind of cool how it sounds different because the reaction between the two is different. But one thing I was going to say that you could totally do is, let's say we didn't want this version. Let's say we want to go to something more relaxing, like we said originally, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Get rid of some of this shit. it real big open, just so we have something here to keep the beat for us. But I just was going to show that same chord progression that we used right there could very easily be transitioned or transformed or whatever into a mellow version. So we could have something like if we like the chord progression, but it doesn't quite fit the feel, you can make adjustments. And I think like people throw away too many good ideas, and it's normally when they're super close to getting something that's really badass. So like let's say like hypothetically we weren't happy with that, it just sounded not what we wanted. But we like the note choice. Let's do this with the same rhythm in the bass, different feel on the drums, but we'll change, make it relaxing. Not bad voicing, so I might do something. Yeah, so simplify it, not do as much as the transitions as the bass. Make it better. So here we're just gonna have the B minor. D, G, E minor, B minor. So here, don't worry about the rhythm for a second. We'll just find voicings that you like. Oops. Forgot I did that little shift, so. I'm getting too dorky with all these chords to give just a simple example. Right there, let's see. Yeah, buddy. No. But that. That's it. Goes diminished. I don't want to hit that chord for whatever reason. Damn it. I don't even use antivirus. Why is that thing popping up? That'll work. But the point being, we can go from something that's same exact idea, right? But then and like that little, I like that melody there. So maybe what I would want to do is play that. Let's do this. Changing the timbre of something is super helpful, especially when you go ahead and make it like a different instrument. So like instead of playing that on that guitar, we'll do it on this. There's a lead. Melody. There's a lot of really a lot of solid potential with this. Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. It just all came from that. Now the one thing, actually, I didn't really get to this, so I'm gonna do this real quick. We're gonna go back to one of the first ideas that's on the first measure, actually, just to show something else. Let me separate these so we know we've got our different ideas. Yeah, cool. So we've got. So with the first measure, we're just going to take this as a riff. What you have is moving around. Hey, you can use any of the stuff we just did. I'll send this over to you so you can play around. It's like kind of see, listen to it and stuff. I can send like individual stuff, but this is all your idea. Although I do like that melody and stuff. I might want to steal it. But let's say we took the first measure. We have a. Again, that kind of pentatonic. To me, that sounds like that would work really well as like something that's kind of a groove. We're just gonna jam on that first idea, and let's get this really simple drum track going. You know, honestly, this could be like that slow vibe just instantly made me think Soilwork, which is really cool. But it's all, let me play your idea exactly how you wrote it, right? So you had. That's a very solid foundation for a riff. Now if we're doing this. I'm going to put a bass in here doing... Actually, no, I'm not yet. What we're going to do... We'll get this shit out of the way. All right. There we go. So there are variations. Like I said, it can be good to do stuff without, like... playing, because then you don't have to worry about the technique and all that shit, right? So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to program what you did in here. Oops. Let's go lower. What do we got? do we do? Oops. Okay, so here's the original, right? And it would sound cool just to keep repeating that, but I'm going to put some variations, right? And the number one way that people do variations is like idea A, B, idea B, idea A again, and then some new idea, right? So we're just going to completely scrap the last one. Well, here, this is what it would sound like, right, if you just kept repeating it. I played it wrong the first time, sorry. So let's change this up. Let's make the... So the first one, yeah, we'll just... Let's get that blue note in there. So like a little variation, right? And then here, set 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. That's all right. What's that? That's awesome. Yeah. It does. You know what's funny about that? Like everybody, like bass players are always asked, you know, to play that. Like, oh, you know the Seinfeld song? But the funny thing is that was actually not played by an actual bass player. It was played on a keyboard. So very similar to just programming it like this, right? Actually, maybe we should do a heavy metal cover of that. Ba-ding, ding, ding, ding. Man, that'd be pretty wild. That's cool though. So yeah, just taking that one idea, right? And then playing around with when you have a different ideas, putting like an arrangement for these is always super helpful. So if we had like, let's see how this sounds. What do we have? Well, here, this is just hypothetical, right? No, actually, so it doesn't really matter. But here, like we have a song arrangement, and this is like, I don't know, minute and 40 seconds of stuff, and it's just a real, rough sort of thing. But if we were to do, playing this a few times. And then, so like that transition is weird to me. I think it sounds better going the other way around. So having that first and then going into. Playing around with that, and because the note change, it has a little bit different feel, which is cool, because we're focusing on a different note, right? Focusing more on the D note, going into having. And if you didn't like the different key, we could always just change this, right? We could make, instead of playing it here, lower it down so it matches the notes. Same idea, just focusing on the notes in the next part. All of these sound cool for solos, right? So if we had, well here, I just realized what time it is. I gotta get ready for teaching. But let me just do this real quick, play through it. So if we had all of this stuff, could make for a really good little melody and stuff. Ooh, play it up an octave at the second time. And obviously, yeah, repeating parts and stuff like that, it's all awesome. So, yeah, I kind of went all over the place, a little ADD brain today, but like I said, there's a lot of really solid ideas in there in what was sent, and like if you don't know what you want, just try something, right? So like I've gotten better over the years at being able to understand what I'm hearing in my head, but at first it'll be like, oh, maybe it'll do this slow extreme. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, where it's like the feels like a burst kind of. That yeah, there's a lot of really it's like it's almost like I end up getting too many ideas, but if I don't know what I want, pick something, just say, okay, I'm going to start with an intense drum beat. I'm going to try and just make you run into problems when you think about too much. So I'm only going to focus on just the 16th note rhythm or the fill or, stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here. So and yeah, like I said, I think a lot of times people get frustrated when they're super close too, because it's just not quite what they want, right? Oh, we actually had another idea too. So yeah, we have like almost 2 minutes of ideas based on like just a few little things, which is cool. So anyway, appreciate you letting me break that down and mess around with that today. It's fun. I'm gonna save that. Maybe we'll play around with some stuff more again. But I think now that we're done with the guest solo, I think on Saturday I'll be back on my album. So we'll see though. But anyway, I gotta get going. Gotta teach. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you soon.